It is now my sincere pleasure to introduce Derrick Hall, the President and CEO of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. It is great to be here. I agree. Cooler, not quite gardening weather. In fact, I'm sorry I didn't dress up. This is more or less my uniform nowadays, though, and although it's usually short sleeve. In fact, today is our first spring game, so we're getting ready out at Salt River Fields, and I'm actually going to have to run out afterwards for good reason. And we are all here, thank goodness. I used to wear a tie every day. In fact, when I first got here, hard to believe I've been here now 15 seasons. But when I came from another team, our culture was to wear a suit and tie, and I'm sitting at a game one day in my seats down by the on-deck circle, and this woman comes up to me and she says, "Mr. Hall, can I tell you something?" I said, "Sure." She said, "You look like an idiot." I said, "Excuse me?" She said, "It's 110 degrees outside. This is baseball. You're wearing that. You ask us to buy this stuff, and you don't wear it?" And I said, "Good point. We all wear the logo today, and we're very proud of it." It is wonderful to be with so many who I can relate with and relate to, and so can my wife, who's here today, Amy, here in the front row. When I look out, in this audience and I see those who are either going through cancer now, have defeated cancer, or are helping others, loved ones or friends, battling this disease, we can relate and we can certainly connect. When I start speeches, I'll usually ask a room how many people know someone, and it's been quite some time now, who's been affected by this disease, who has had cancer, who knows someone who has had cancer or has cancer now. And I would say probably 10 years ago, maybe half the room, but today, everybody raises their hand. It is so prominent, and it's a word where we were talking about it driving in, my wife and I, and we talk, really, if we find ourselves every day talking about cancers, I'm sure you all do too, but it was a word that was rarely used or heard back when we were younger, and there were even movies where the stars, as part of the script would whisper, "Cancer." You couldn't say that word. Whereas today, it's a word that we talk about proudly each and every day, and that we fight each and every day. And looking out in this audience, we are winning each and every day. So I congratulate those of you that are winning this battle, and you will continue to. Cancer has been a part of my family, unfortunately, now for quite some time. I think back, and I would start with my father, who, and we all get emotional. My dad was great. He's my hero. Sorry. The reason I'm in bed, thank you. Woo, didn't expect that. The reason I'm in baseball today is because my father, he loved the sport, and my dad was an All-American catcher in the state of Arkansas. He was actually drafted or recruited by a scout with the Cardinals. He wanted to go play baseball, and he decided not to so he could raise a family. And boy, he loved the game, loved the sport, and he was so proud when I got into baseball with that other team in Los Angeles who remains nameless, who we don't like. And then, of course, moving out here with this great team, the Diamondbacks, and he was so proud and lived vicariously through me. And he called me one day saying he was having trouble and wanted to come down and see some of my specialists here at Mayo because I was doing so much work through the executive program at Mayo, and Mayo is just tremendous. Each and every department and division, the specialists, the doctors, unreal, as you all know. So he did. He came here. We actually scheduled an endoscopy, and afterwards, and he was still under, the doctor came out and said, we can't help. We now need to send him, and we were out at Shea, we need to send him to the Mayo Hospital. So we quickly got him in the car as he was coming to. We explained to him we're going to do a little further research. And it was found that at the time he had a blockage, and it ended up becoming pancreatic cancer. Very late stage, as unfortunately we all know it usually is. Wonderful care. We had the Whipple performed at Mayo. Very tough surgery for those of you that have been through it. Wow, you're brave and strong, over 10 hours. And he came through great. We were told, as in some cases, that he didn't have long to live and that he was lucky if he lived 3 months. We work closely with Mayo and TGen. We were fortunate enough to have met Dr. Dan Von Hoff, who is just a wonderful man and a genius. I'm grateful that he decided and agreed to work with my father, who lived in Las Vegas. So he would come down here for his care and his treatment, and he lived over 3 years, which was great for all of us. Yes. But I share this story not because of the grief or the fact that he's no longer with us. First off, how long he did live was tremendous. And I think if it were today, he'd still be living well beyond 3 years. That's the message here. Even with a deadly disease like that, so many people are surviving. And I made it a point to become an ambassador and an advocate and speak as much as I could about pancreatic cancer because of the way that it affected our lives at the time. And so I quickly jumped on the National Pancreatic Advisory Committee. So proud to be on that committee, and we meet monthly, we raise money, we drive awareness, we do all that we can to fight this disease. And I see people that are on that, I mean, the inspiration, the motivation, people that are on that board with me, that committee. Our chairman has been cancer-free, pancreatic cancer, for over 12 years. We have members on that board that are over 8 years, and when you start to get that long into survival, your chances are great that you're just going to live a long and steady and healthy life, and they are. And when I go to these events now, there's one gentleman on our committee, Roger Magowitz, who's an angel, and he lost his mother to pancreatic disease and cancer as well. So he raises money through the mattress industry, and they are so generous, and they give millions each year to research for pancreatic cancer. And he holds an event each year, and I MC it. And the number of people that are there that they highlight and showcase, and they stand up and tell their story, and you hear 16 years survivor, and 8 years survivor, and 5 years survivor. And rather than saying, gosh, we were unlucky, why can't my dad be here? I'm so happy and proud, that we are where we are. And that's really with every disease. Then it came to me shortly after my father was diagnosed, and I was working with Mayo, as I mentioned, going through my own guidance and making sure that I was staying on top of my own health. And I found a cardiologist there that I absolutely loved, Dr. Todd Hurst. He was a wonderful man. And, Todd went through all these tests with me, and it was an annual event with him. And a couple weeks later, he called me on the phone, said, I want to talk to you and let you know your results. And I said, well, can we go over them on the phone? And I hope I'm not getting him in trouble, but he said, okay, I will. And he said, everything looks good. Your blood work came in well, this and that, and went over all the results. And I said, good, because we were monitoring everything and prescriptions, et cetera, that we're all dealing with. And before I hung up, he says, oh, there is one thing, though. He said, I accidentally drew a PSA. And I said, I don't even know what that is. And he said, well, it's related to the prostate. And he said, and your level is a little high, and it's higher than it should be. At the time, I was 42 years of age, and he said, so I want you to come in and see our urologist. I didn't even know what a urologist was. So I came in and saw the urologist. He recommended that I have a biopsy. And for those of you that are here with prostate cancer, beating prostate cancer, surviving from prostate cancer, there's no shame, right? You can't be embarrassed. You self-induce an enema and you go for it. And, there you are for the whole world to see, and you have a biopsy, and afterwards you have blood everywhere for the next month. But, it's so important, and when it came back after you have this needle biopsy, that I did have cancer. And it was an aggressive form of prostate cancer, so I was so lucky. Again, I think we all go through life with signals or signs that tell us something happened for a reason. We all believe that. And those of you who do believe in a God, and those of you who don't, there is a plan for each and every one of us. And for me, so fortunate for him to have done that, and for me now to know I can deal with it. And the key to all of us and to anybody that has cancer is early detection, because treatment becomes so much easier, as we all know. So I was fortunate enough to have caught it, and I decided to go public with it immediately. And the first thing I did before that, and I remember the shock. I was in San Diego. We were playing the Padres, and I get the phone call from the urologist who said, well, it is positive you do have cancer, and I recommend, you look at these different options. They never tell you what to do, but here are your options, and I recommend that you take a course of action. I decided at my age there were so many different ways to go that I was going to go with surgery, because every time I heard one of the treatments, it was that's quite effective, but if it doesn't work, you can't have surgery. This one, yeah, it's done well, but if it doesn't work, you can't have surgery. I kept hearing, you can't have surgery, and I thought, well, then I'm going to have surgery, especially at my age. And the first thing I did was call my wife, of course, and then call my boss, who was also a prostate cancer survivor. It's so important to have people around you that have been through it. That's one of the messages. That's one of the reasons why you're all here. And I asked her if I could let all of my employees know before I let my family know, because I'm in San Diego. And she said, I wouldn't expect anything different from you. And I quickly typed up an email to all my staff. I get emotional again. They were great. Let them know what I was going through. And then I went home, and we set up a dinner the next night with my kids. Let them know I have 3 kids, two sons and a daughter. Our daughter at the time was maybe 9. She's our youngest. And she would equate any cancer to what her grandfather went through. So she was a wreck. And I just kept telling her, Kylie, I promise you, I'm going to walk you down the aisle. And I'll get back to that. And she would cheer up. And I said, one day, I'm going to walk you down the aisle. Bless you. Bless you. So, here I was telling now the family, and then I let them know. I said, I'm going to go public with it. That's sort of who I am. I want to be able to share my story with others. I want them to be able to share with me. And so we held a press conference the next day at the stadium, and we let the world know what I was going through. And I had so many people come to me and say, why would you do that? Including people that I worked for, owners, saying, why would you do that? This should be private. And I said, no, it shouldn't. And I think everybody decides his or her own journey and way about it. But for me, it was therapeutic to be able to tell my story. And again, I believe that was part of why I was diagnosed. We decided if and when, and we were going to, once we got through it, we were going to start a foundation as well. So I was being treated at Mayo. I had a very good friend in the medical field who said, now that you've gone public, you really should go somewhere else for your surgery. And I thought that was strange, but really good advice. Mayo certainly understood, because you want normalcy in this setting, and you certainly don't want to put undue pressure on anyone that is treating you. So I went off and had my surgery out of state. Everything went well, but there was marginal escape. So again, here's that fear, right? They say to us, well, we think we got it all, you're going to be okay, but there was marginal escape, let's keep watching. And for me, my PSA goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down. We don't know if it's just tissue that's remaining, dead cancer cell tissues and cells, but we watch it, we keep watching, that's all we can do. But because of that, I worry each and every day, as each and every one of you in this room do for yourselves or for others. That's what happens. One of the most beautiful things about returning home seemingly healthy was when I went to work, back to work, and my wife sends me an email, and her subject is simply crying. And my daughter had gone to school, and again, she's 9 or 10 years old at the time, and she had a little grease board. She put it outside of her room before she left for school, and she wrote on it, my daddy is cancer-free. He'll walk me down the aisle like he promised, which was beautiful. So we've kept that today. So here I am. I start a foundation. It's the Pro-State Foundation, Pro State of Mind. We believe everybody in this room, we all have to have a positive state of mind to get through anything. And so I wanted for prostate, pro-state, pro-state.org. And I really wanted to be a resource and an outlet for men, for women, for families who would not have known enough about prostate cancer. I didn't know, but I had a group around me that I could refer to and talk to, and it's so important to have a team, and I didn't have that. And I found that most individuals going through it felt the same way. And as we all know, one of the worst things we can do, but we all do it, we're all guilty, is we get on the internet. Boy, as soon as we know that we've had a diagnosis, or we think we do, we get on the internet and we look all night, and then we're a wreck. We should never do that. However, I wanted to create a resource on the internet that could be more positive and tell my story very graphically. And again, had to have the approval of my family, like it's gonna be out there, and they're okay with it. We're a resource for people to come to us, ask questions, feel that connection with me. And it's very important that I'm also available for as many individuals that want to call me or write me that I can give answers to. I don't want to give advice, but I can give answers to their questions, and I can tell them my own journey. And I can give them my own advice from what I went through, which has been powerful. The number of people that call me and say, thank you, because of you and your story that you went public, I went and got tested, and I have it, but it was detected early enough, I can be treated now. Or those that have said, thank you, I went and got tested, I don't have it, now I have a marker. That's remarkable. That's really what we want. And then through our foundation, what we're doing as a resource is, driving awareness, letting people understand what the disease is about. And we are now in every minor league ballpark on Father's Day. So we have over 70,000 that we reach, and we have a giveaway each and every day with information about prostate cancer, driving awareness, giving a Louisville Slugger with one lucky man's name on it who's either survived or going through prostate cancer, and a giveaway at the gate for each and everybody. And the awareness not only of our foundation, but of prostate cancer in general has really grown, and I'm proud of that. So again, having gone through it, there's a common message here. With my father with pancreatic cancer, I wanted to get involved. I wanted to be a part of it. I want to drive the message home that we can find a cure, we have to help one another, we can be resources. When I went through prostate cancer, the same. And I think everybody in this room too, be there for someone. You don't have to start a foundation, you don't have to go to the news, but be there for people, be a resource. Unfortunately, my biggest supporter has been my wife, and being a caregiver, as you all know in this room, is tougher than being the victim of cancer at the time in a lot of ways. And I watched everything that she went through, and she was one of those that went on the internet every night, even after I told her not to, and was trying to turn our lives upside down, and did a great job. What a wonderful caregiver she is, and we've been together, 32 years. She came to me one day and said, "I need to see you, down in our room." And I said, "Okay." And this is a few years back, and I went down, and she said, "I need you to feel this. I feel a lump." And I thought, "Oh, no, not again, not her now." And I felt, and I jumped. And I said, "Yeah, there's something there." And I said, "Well, okay, we'll be all right. We're going to check it out." And it's amazing how many times you really need a second opinion too, right? We all know that, or at least you should, just for confirmation. But our general doctor, who's a wonderful person, said to us, "Oh, this will be easy. It's just going to be a needle. We're going to take it out and she'll be fine." I thought, okay. Well, after more scans and after more biopsies and more tests, and it seemed like months, but it was really just days, we found out that she had triple-negative breast cancer. And as we all know, that's a tough diagnosis. Those of you that are here that are getting through it, you're going to. Because again, the treatment is getting so much better, but it's not fun going through it. And I feel for those of you that are or know someone that is. It was a tough journey, but boy, is she strong. And watching her and the message again about being positive, it was remarkable. I mean, she was such an inspiration to me, and it was a tough one. The treatment was starting out with really drastic chemotherapy, as some of you know, really tough chemo. And trying to keep a smile on our faces during all of that, and we tried to have fun with it. The first time we went wig shopping, boy, did we laugh. And when she put on wigs, and we'd go, "Ooh, no, too big. No, still too big. No, not good." And she decided, "I'm not wearing a wig" after that, and she loved it. She rocked that bald head and wore a lot of caps and looked beautiful. We played cards each and every time she had chemo. We got to know those around us in the other chairs, and that's special too. It really is. In fact, one individual in there, young man going through pancreatic cancer, and I was trying to inspire him as much as I can, and to hear today that he is alive and well, and they don't worry about his future is so great. But she had that massive chemo followed by surgery, really tough surgery, and then reconstruction after that, and then radiation for 6 weeks every day, and then another chemo regimen after that, and chemo pills, and now it's maintenance, and we're part of a clinical trial at University of Kansas where she was going once a month, and then once every 3 months, and now once every 6 months, and then once a year, and it's an injection. But to see her just be so positive and watch our family get even closer than we already were, because she runs the house, and this was our time now to get behind her like she always has us. And I think what she taught me, and I could do this all day, I'm sorry, my time is up, but she taught me again how important it is to be positive and to be there for others as well. So she took that from me and my experience, and to watch her now talk to those that are going through it, complete strangers who will reach out and say, "I need to talk to you. I know you went through it," and she's more than willing to and enjoys it and is growing like friendships and family as a result. I mean, these are fraternities and sororities that we're all a part of now, but we can all get through it together. So my, final words of wisdom for each of you. First off, congratulations, and you're here for a reason. Continued health, continued battles in the positive direction. But make sure you have a team around you. I think one of the worst things we can do, and some people can't help it, is go through this alone. No one should go through this alone. Get a team around you. Some people can't handle it either. I can tell you, parts of her family, immediate family, just couldn't handle the fact that she was sick. So we didn't include them and involve them until she was well afterwards. Keep people informed and communicate with them, but don't inundate the patient or the person battling cancer. Caring Bridge is a great way, as you know, and I was keeping people updated as much as I can. Have a plan, trust that plan, listen to the experts that are telling you what to go through. Don't give up, obviously. Stay positive, keep your head up, and just keep battling, because in the end, you're going to win. I congratulate all of you for being here this morning. I thank you, I connect with you. I love each and every one of you for the journey you're going through, and please help others as well. Thank you.